Welcome, beautiful people. I'll give a few seconds for all of us to gather. I hope you can hear me out. Okay. So I'm going to give us a few minutes or few seconds or a couple of minutes for all of us to gather. And I do have my card deck that I am going to use to read a card, individual card, for those of you who would like me to read a card at the end of this video. But for now, I will stick to the card that I chose this morning. I picked up this morning for myself, for my community, for people in my program I participate in, and now for you. The card is amazing. That's the picture. And then the card says, accepting my imperfections. Okay, few more seconds. Let me check the technical aspects. Okay, I think everything looks good. Okay, so welcome, beautiful, once again. Welcome to our pop-up live videos in the Facebook group, in our community. Today, I picked up the card for all of us that says, accepting your imperfections. Accepting my imperfections, accepting your imperfections, accepting imperfections. Accepting imperfections. What a topic, what a card, what a message. It couldn't be a better message. Accepting my imperfections. I'd like us to talk about what's perfect. What does the word mean? The word perfect mean? What does it describe? How does it make you feel? What is it used for? What's its use? If you look in a language, let's start from the beginning. Language is something that we use, our words and language, and how we communicate. It's what we use to describe reality, to describe what's around us. Imagine someone is not seeing where you are at, for example, over the phone without FaceTime. You use language, words, verbs, and etc. for describing the reality around you. The richer your description becomes, the easier it is to realize, to imagine, to almost put the person who is listening to you, put themselves into that reality. So there is no exception to the fact that language creates reality. This is how we talk about reality. This is what we are not only seeing, but also creating in return. Because we may see something, describe it in different words, and we will create a different reality. So does the word perfect. So does many other words. And I don't know if that's the category. I'm not language specialist, but I can see that in our language we do have abstract words, abstract adjectives in this case. Adjectives, the words that describe something, but we don't know exactly what they mean because they have attached a value, a perception of that particular person using the word to it. So, for example, the word beautiful, right? The beauty can be seen through every single pair of eyes differently. So it is kind of abstract word. So it's perfect. Perfect for me is the most abstract word I've ever seen on this planet. If there is any another, please let me know. I will be happy to learn more about it. Perfect is an adjective in the language. It describes a noun. It describes an item. Describes an item. Describes a person. Describes an experience. Describes reality. when someone tells me that something is perfect, I seriously don't know what they are meaning until they describe to me in a little bit more details what they mean. So I need more adjectives, more descriptive words to describe particular thing they are describing in order for me to see it and imagine that reality. Hello, Susanna. So when someone is using the word perfect, it's just like I get stuck. I stumble. I have no clue how to imagine that item, person, experience. A perfect. So in the end, I'm laughing because this word literally has no place in our language. It has no use. It has no place. It's meaningless. It is truly meaningless. It does not give anything. Yes, it may have an attached value to it because the value that is attached to it is the value you give it to it. So now, if we look at the word perfect, for me, it doesn't mean anything. When someone tells me you are a perfect coach, I don't know what they mean. When they tell me that I have a perfect relationship, I have no clue what they are talking about. If they see you are in a perfect situation, I don't know what they are saying. I don't know. Please describe more, further. Explain to me, what do you mean by that? And when I dig deeper, if someone is, of course, willing to go into that conversation, because many people don't know even what they mean by this. And this is the interesting aspect about those abstract words like beautiful, normal, perfect, that we do attach more values to them than they actually mean. And when we attach those values, they can be different among every one of us. They can mean different things. Their definition changes among people. So when you are talking to someone and saying, "Oh, this is beautiful, this is perfect, that's normal," the other person has totally full 100% right to ask you, "What do you mean by that?" Because this was perfect, beautiful, and normal to you, it may totally not be beautiful, perfect, normal to them. So now going to perfectionism, perfect thing, perfect self, perfect body, perfect relationship, perfect job, perfect, whatever that is. What is that? Please tell me, what is that? Give yourself, actually you don't need to tell me, but this is something to encourage you to reflect on it. Place your hands on your heart and literally ask yourself what that can mean. What does that mean? What is that word to me? How do I describe this? Or how could I else describe these things, but without using word perfect? What is it? What's perfect in my eyes? And the question is very subtle, very powerful, but in the answers can be very subtle and very hard to find if you really don't dig into your heart. Because a lot of our definitions and connotations in our brain are reinforced by entire stories of messages, stereotypes, definitions elsewhere in particular industry elsewhere, and we think that this definition, this connotation, this meaning is mine. But when you dig deeper into yourself, really deep, you may discover that this is not what defines you, that you're perfect is something else, that you're perfect may actually not exist, that you're perfect doesn't really exist. And trust me, the deeper you go, the more detached you get with the word or to the word of perfect. It's like right now it has no meaning to me. It has a laughable even meaning to me. When somebody mentioned that word, I have a smile on my face and I am waiting and I want to hear them more. And yes, we do live in a world when language changes, when language in some places gets very, very disabled, so called, and in some places gets very enriched. And it's very important to be able to describe word in the reality as we really see. And believe me, the word perfect describes very little, very little. It describes something that is not existent. It describes something that is not achievable. It describes some cosmic, unknown, imaginative place, spot that nobody's seen, nobody knows what it is, nobody have any clue how it is. And the problem with it is even worse, that it changes. It changes between people, it changes between ages, it changes among the decades as we move, as we progress. So how can we attach our worth, for example, to such word that is changing based on the person? Like somebody says perfect is this, perfect is this, perfect is that, and now you attach your worthiness to those 3, 5, 7, 8 billion different definitions of perfect. That tells you that maybe there is something to it, right? There is something to it. So today's card is accepting my imperfections. Meaning accepting yourself. Meaning accepting everything that you are. Because actually, I don't know what that means. Accepting my imperfections, that means that we do have perfect parts and then we have imperfect parts. And now we are in this moment of accepting these beautiful imperfections. In order to be enlightened, we need to accept those imperfections. No, there is no definition, I don't know. There is no, there are no two categories. Sorry, I couldn't explain myself. There are no categories like that. We already agreed that what's perfect, we don't know really. So let's skip that word. So there are parts of you. And guess what? Every of this part of you is asking you for being treated the same way. Imperfect, perfect, whatever that means. Every part, accepting my parts, accepting myself as a whole, accepting myself, hugging myself, being with myself, with every single part of me. And I do love the analogy of puzzles. I really love. I may be repeating this analogy like broken record, but I will do until everyone who needs to hear it will hear it, which may be never, but it's like, imagine the puzzles. You really put them on the table and they do have different look. They are flipped over, they are upside down, they are on the floor, they are on the table. Those are parts of the wholeness, which is going to be the full picture of that puzzle picture. Yet, do we take some puzzles and we don't like them because they are imperfect, because they are not perfect, and we throw them away? No, we gather them together, we put them together, we match them together, we tend to all of them. We even make sure that we don't lose a single puzzle out of this picture, because my picture will not be whole. The same with our parts, our soul parts, our heart parts, our parts as a human being, as a soul, that we need to tend to every single part of ourselves. And believe me, from now on, there is no perfect or imperfect. There is part of you. That's it. That part of you is worthy to be hugged, to be tended to be cared for, to be loved, the same way as another part, and another part, and another part, and more parts. It is. So even though this card today is accepting my imperfections, it's truly what I would write, accepting myself as a whole, accepting every single puzzle of my wholeness. Every single puzzle of my wholeness. This is what this card is asking you to do today, tomorrow, after tomorrow. And acceptance is not something that you will start doing and it will be happening every day 24/7. No, these are little snippets of the moments. They're you living in your life. We are on the planet Earth and we are humans. We living. There are moments and moments, right? Big moments, small moments, this moments, that moments, without calling them particular names. There are moments in our life, and acceptance is something that we tip into it or tap into it every single time we need. Every single time we feel like we are throwing away some puzzle away from us, away from that whole picture. Every single time that we are pissed at that puzzle because it doesn't match us anywhere. When we are pissed at that 1, 2, 3 puzzles that they don't match anywhere, do we throw them in the trash? No. We step away, we take a breather, we reset ourselves, and then come back to tend to those 3 puzzles back again. And then we may even see the whole picture from a totally different perspective. So tending to your parts is really beautiful. So accepting all single part of you, even if your ego is telling you that they are imperfect, that they are not good, that they are not enough, especially when your ego tells you all of this. That's important that you tell your ego, trust me, I know what we are doing. It's okay. It's okay to trust. It's okay to accept. It's okay to be okay. It's okay to be not okay. And that's okay too. So I think with that, I would like to finish the my chatting or my monologue or my ranting about something, because I really like sharing with you some of those coaching snippets and my perceptions. If you do have different perceptions about this topic, I really wonder what did resonate with you, what didn't resonate with you. How do you see the word perfection, perfect, imperfect? What is your deep-hearted definition of it? If you do have, maybe you already disconnected from that word. If you do hate that word, that might be a trigger. Why do you hate it? What does it remind you? What does it tell you? Because, as I said, for me, that word is non-existent. It's there. It makes me laugh. It makes me pass by. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's one of those funny words that I always like to ask for definition of it. Just like success, just like beauty, especially beauty standards, a lot of those things. I do like ask the other person, okay, tell me your definition of that word, or normal. Normal is my favorite word altogether, because I really like asking people what's normal when they apply their normal to my life. That's even funnier. So yeah, I do have some agenda going on with these words. Definitely not on the triggering part, but on the more like funny side of it. I'm still juggling these words in my world. I'm definitely saying that I'm not using them very often, or not at all, almost. So that's a beautiful experience too. So I'm really curious about all those things. Share with us, share with me. I will be really happy to hear about these things from you. Thank you. Thank you for listening to this. But now, in the meantime, I am here to draw the card for you if someone is interested. That was the card for collective for all of us. But then I am happy to draw the card for you. The cards I have today is the language of letting go. The language of letting go by Melody Beatty. Betty. The language of letting go. So if anybody wants me to draw the card, that's perfect. I can do that. If not, if you're listening to replay, if you do still want me to draw the card for you, let me know. I can do that for you and post on the below your comment. I will be more than happy to do that. And if not, I want to express my gratitude to you. Thank you so much for listening, and I'm opening space and my heart to hear from you about not only what we talk about, but also how is your life happening, how is it going, where you are at in your life, what's maybe bothering you, what's something to celebrate. If you are feeling called to share in my space, in our group, feel free, please do so. I always welcome this type of shares. This is always for me such a treasure to listen to hear, to read and respond to. Thank you for being here. And I'm sending you a lot of hugs, and hug yourself today. Hug yourself today and hug every single part of you. Hug every single imperfect parts of you, your imperfectionism. And I will see you in the next video. I love you all and talk to you next time. Bye.